We continue this afternoon's press conference. We have head coach Pascal Jansen. If we have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll go with Scott.
Hey, Coach, how are you? Scott Schertzen, Stream Punk Soccer.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Hey, appreciate the time. Thanks. Talk a little bit about final match before the break at this point. No rest for you guys. And just any thoughts you've got going into tomorrow night. Thanks.
Our thoughts are trying to end this sequence of games before we go into the break as good as we can. Obviously, we're on the road again. We've been in Columbus for the Cup game. Stayed in Nashville the day after, so we're here already. And now preparing for this last game before we go into the break. And like I said, we want to finish strong.
Michael?
Hey, Pascal, it's Mike Dander from Blue City Radio. Thanks, as always, for the time.
Hi, Mike.
You have talked in the past about looking at the season in blocks.
Yeah.
Did the upcoming break, where you're not going to have games for two months, did that adjust how you broke the season up, or you still just looked at it, number of games?
No, it's still the same number of games. In the way we approach it, we're in our third block of games now, and as we went into this block, trying to do better than we did during the second block, which is quite obvious a block that we didn't perform at our standard. The third block, however, is better, is closer to our standards. And this will be the final game in the third block. And then obviously we're going to take a break and prepare ourselves for the next block after the World Cup.
Michael? Lewis?
Hey, Pascal. Michael Lewis, Front Row Soccer. I know we've seen Matt Freese excel for club and country the last 2 years. Barring a surprise, he's probably going to be named to the U.S. national team. I know you've talked a lot about his ability, but I'd like to ask you one more time right now. Mm-hmm. What have you seen of his goalkeeping ability and leadership that not only should he make the team, but maybe be the starter as well? Thank you.
Well, I hope he's going to be the starter. I think he's shown at club level and at U.S. national team level that he is a trustworthy goalkeeper, very high quality. And the thing is, like in your question you asked, how do I see his progression and his development in general? As I mentioned a couple of times already, what I love the most about Matty is that he sets concrete and very clear goals for himself in order to focus on and becoming a better goalkeeper. And even this year, you see all the things that we talked about in how we see the next step to be taken. You can see at club level that he is doing better again than last season, which is a massive achievement for Matty as an individual, but also I think a good reflection of how he's able to determine his goals and eventually do better every time.
Christian?
Hi, Coach. The team had some very positive results against Nashville last year. I'm curious, what role can those moments play in the preparation for this weekend?
Well, it's a small part, I think. We've done well last season. I do want to remind you of the first half that we played in Nashville last season, which was a half where we struggled. Second half, however, was much more positive from our end. So obviously we looked at those images also preparing for this game, but we have to realize it's a whole new season and whole new situation. Both rosters have changes. We expect also a few different players on pitch, but yeah, if I have to name one, Mokhtar is a very big piece for Nashville, of course, and we expect him to be on pitch tomorrow. But we're looking forward to meeting them again. Two sides that like to play good with possession as well, have good players on both sides, and I think it will be a good game again compared to what you guys saw last season.
Scott, you have another one?
Yes, please, if you don't mind. With obviously after this match, for the players that are not going to be involved in World Cup, it's going to be similar in a lot of ways to an off-season break.
Yeah.
How is the training routine during something like this? Is it going to be a training routine for the players similar to what they would do during the off-season break, or is it a little different? Just in general. Thanks.
Yeah, interesting because it's going to be the first time in the MLS, if I'm not mistaken. We all know what's ahead once the schedule will change. You will have to deal with a summer break every season. This is the first time due to the fact that the World Cup is there. The players deserve some time off also because the schedule has been packed. That goes for every team in the MLS. So they deserve some rest. And then they will prepare themselves again in order to start, in our case, on the 18th of June. And we'll have a second part like we did in January, a second part of a pre-season, preparing ourselves for the second part of the MLS season and obviously the Leagues Cup that is ahead.
Anyone else? Great. Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's pre-match press conference ahead of our game against Nashville. We have defender midfielder Kai Trewin. If we have any questions, please raise your hand. We'll get started with Scott.
Hey, Kai, how are you? Scott Schertz and Stream Punk Soccer. Now that it's official that obviously Maxi had the ACL challenge and Kevin's had his surgery as well, how has the team reacted? How have you reacted to it? And how do you view, honestly, the challenge facing you? Thanks, man.
Yeah, obviously, both of those injuries, I've known about Kev for a little bit longer, so that one wasn't as much of a surprise. But then obviously what happened with Maxi in the derby the other day was really disappointing, and to lose someone that's so important to our group and to the way that we play it's a massive loss, especially with the last sort of week going quite well, and then his relationship with some of the boys up the top like Nico and Trapo, who speak a lot of Spanish. So to lose him at this time of the season, it's obviously pretty disappointing. But I guess it's a chance for someone else to step up and try and recreate Maxi's job, I guess.
Glenn?
Hey, Kai. How about just referring back to the last 3 MLS games? You had the 2 clean sheets. You come back, get the draw against Red Bull. Then the Columbus affair, and so much has been talked about congested schedule. I just look at you personally, watch you move. It seems like you're okay, but to what reference can you make that there are so many games in a short period of time that might make some of this difficult?
Yeah, I guess a lot of teams are in the same situation as us, so it's not something that we really complain about or think that it's going to affect. It obviously has an effect on our games, but we're being strong enough that we don't use that as an excuse and just try and improve every game. Obviously, like you said, we've had a few clean sheets, and then the draw against Red Bull in our last couple of MLS games. Obviously against Columbus, we had a disappointing result in the cup, but last week especially was probably a good turnaround. Obviously after we had a few bad results in a row going I guess through April. But we're not using it as an excuse and just putting a lot of emphasis on our regen and recovery each +1 or leading into every game. And I think the staff have done a good job of that, making sure everyone's ready to go and being best prepared for the next match.
Can I ask you just regarding Australia, and forgive me if this has already been announced, but do you know when is that group being selected? Or when are you finding out?
Well, there's obviously a lot of boys in the camp at the moment. There's sort of people just coming in every, once they finish their season or if they're getting to their break, then they'll go in after that. So I think the squad doesn't get announced until the 1st. I'm not quite sure if it's exactly on the 1st but yeah, I think you just wait for a message or a call to get to find out that you're going to the camp, and then from there it's sort of whoever performs the best or has been performing the best, and whoever the boss thinks is best suited to the team and can help Australia do well at the World Cup.
And you're going in right after the Nashville game, or do you go right into camp yourself?
Yeah, we'll see if I get the message, I guess, on after the game against Nashville.
All right, thanks, man.
Michael?
Hey, Kai, it's Mike Ander from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time.
All good.
The conversation about congestion and number of games, it particularly applies to people like yourself, Aiden, and Matt, with the expectation, with your experience that you have been called up in the past and there's a likelihood you could get called up in the future. Does that weigh you differently than maybe a player that knows that they're going to have, possibly 6 weeks or 7 weeks without, the intensity of games week in and week out? How does that mentally, or physically, how is that different, the preparation?
It's in a lot of ways it's a positive for me, just being able to keep match fit and stay strong. Obviously it takes a little bit at the start of the season for your body to get used to that amount of games in such a small small window, but for me I feel like I'm in a place now where I'm able to back up games pretty comfortably, and if anything for me it's been a positive. Probably for Maxi and Ado the same. Obviously Ado's ended up picking up a niggle, but Freeze could probably say the same thing. It's just about being able to back up games and just being comfortable doing that. And obviously the World Cup, there's not long until that, so making sure that we're fit and ready to go for that is the most important thing. And there being so many games in this small period has definitely helped me with that. But for the boys that are going into the break, I guess it's something they've been able to look forward to too. Just focusing, like I said before, on their regen and their recovery, just making sure they get through the last couple of games before the break, and then can sort of recover and get ready to go for the second part of the season.
Christian?
Hi, Kai. You've been here a little under 6 months now. I'm just curious if there's been any particular challenges you feel like you've encountered with MLS that have made you a better player on the other side of it.
Yeah, well, I guess one of them would have to be the schedule. I guess, we've been playing, especially since the last international break, I think we've played, almost 2 games or 3 games a week pretty much since, I don't know when that was, probably for the last, month and a half, I guess. So that's been one challenge, which I've really enjoyed. And then obviously just the level of competition's gone up for me a lot. But I've been enjoying my time here, and I feel like it's gone really well for me so far, and hopefully that can continue.
Scott, you have another one?
Yeah, if you don't mind, thanks. Real quick, obviously talking about Nashville and everything right now, Sam Surridge, Hani Mukhtar, and everything that comes with that team. How has the preparation been on the short rest?
Like I've been saying, it's a lot based on just regen, recovery, just making sure that we're fresh as we can be, ready to go for that game. Obviously, they're a great team and they're having a great season, so we've got to be on our best game to compete with them, and yeah, I'm sure we will be.
Final one, let's go with Michael.
I want to go back to Wednesday if we could. In the post game, that was the first time I heard Pascal refer to, specifically resting players in looking ahead towards the next match. Usually he is hey, we want to win the match that's right in front of us, and we're going to do whatever we can to win that match. Talk to me about how you felt understanding the game plan going in, knowing that it felt like around 60th minute there was going to be, some stock changes. And I wonder if maybe if Keaton wasn't hurt, maybe you would have been one of those guys who got the last half hour off, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, we hadn't spoken about that happening at all before the game, but, I think it was his decision, and to be honest, I think it doesn't matter who's on the pitch for us. Our squad is strong enough where if 3 or 4 players have to come off at once for any given reason, that we have enough players off the bench that can come in and do a job. And during the game, the changes were made and we were still pushing for a goal. Obviously, we weren't able to get it in the end, but I thought the boys that come on did a good job and brought some energy. So it was a good opportunity for them. And yeah, I guess with Keats not playing, that made it tough, especially for Johnny. Obviously, he didn't find out he was starting until probably 10 minutes before he went out, and I thought he was great. So it's lucky that we have quality players like Johnny just ready to come in as well. So I don't know if I would have got a rest. I hope not, to be honest. I've been enjoying playing a lot of minutes. So yeah.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.
That was well answered.